Okay, so let's get right into it. What really drives massive, world-changing success? Is it some kind of brilliant, meticulously executed plan, or is it just being in the right place at the right time? Pure dumb luck. That is the big question we're digging into.
And honestly, this is one of the biggest debates in business, right? In one corner, you've got people who swear it's all about chance. And in the other, you have those who are convinced you make your own luck. So, which one is it? What's kind of wild is how many titans of industry actually lean into the luck argument. Bill Gates says he was just lucky to be born with his skills. Jeff Bezos credits incredible planetary alignment. And Warren Buffett, he literally calls himself a winner of the ovarian lottery. It's almost like the more successful you become, the more you start pointing to chance.
But then you get the complete opposite take, summed up perfectly by Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter and Square. Success is never accidental. And that makes a ton of sense, right? I mean, how could people like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, or Dorsey himself create multiple billion-dollar companies if it were all just a random roll of the dice? The whole idea of a serial entrepreneur seems to prove that something else has to be at play here. So, the key to figuring this all out isn't really about looking at the past. It's about how you view the future. Your entire approach to life and success, it all hinges on whether you see the future as something you can actually shape or just something that happens to you. And this brings us to a really fantastic framework. Just picture a simple grid with two axes. The vertical axis is your general outlook. Are you an optimist who thinks the future will be better, or a pessimist who thinks it's all downhill from here? And the horizontal axis is your conviction. Is the future definite, something with a specific shape you can plan for, or is it indefinite, just random and unknowable? And this right here, this is the core of it. On one side, you've got the definite mindset. These are the people who believe in plans, in grand visions, in actually building the world to come. And on the other side, you've got the indefinite mindset. This is all about hedging your bets, diversifying, keeping your options open, because hey, who really knows what's going to happen? So these two axes give us four basic worldviews. Definite optimism was America in the 1950s and 60s. They had a plan to go to the moon, and they just did it. Definite pessimism is kind of like modern China, believing the future will be tough, so they have to prepare by copying what already works. Indefinite pessimism, you could argue that's modern Europe, sort of enjoying the present while hoping things don't get any worse. And then there's indefinite optimism, which, according to this framework, has pretty much been the dominant mindset in the US since the 1980s. We generally believe the future will be better. We just have absolutely no concrete plan for how it's going to happen. And once you see this, you start noticing this way of thinking everywhere. Just look at finance, for example. In an indefinite world, money stops being a tool to build things, and it becomes an end in itself. It just gets shuffled around endlessly in portfolios and diversification plans. Why? Because holding cash gives you options, and nobody believes they have a definite plan that's better than just having those options. You see it in politics, too. It shows up as an obsession with process over actual substance. We're completely mesmerized by pollsters who can predict an election a few weeks away, but if somebody proposes a bold, visionary 20-year plan, we just dismiss it as totally unrealistic. Government becomes all about managing the present, not building the future. And this gets really personal. What do we tell young people? Be well-rounded. Keep your options open. So students spend years collecting a little bit of every extracurricular to build this diverse resume, all for a future they're told is completely unknowable. And the result? They're prepared for anything in general, but they're not really a master of anything in particular. You can see this play out perfectly in business if you just compare software and biotech. Software is built on definite, engineered plans. You write code to do a specific thing. Biotech, on the other hand, has become a field of mostly indefinite, random searching, screening millions of compounds just hoping for a lucky hit. And this approach is a huge reason why biotech just hasn't seen the same explosive progress as the software world. So, if our indefinite world has all these problems, what's the alternative? Well, it's a return to definite optimism, the belief that the future can be better, but only if we have the courage to make a plan and actually go out and build it. And the crazy thing is, we used to be great at this. We didn't just stumble our way into building the Golden Gate Bridge or the interstate highway system. We certainly didn't land on the moon by keeping our options open. No way. These were the products of incredibly bold, definite plans. To really get a sense of this old mindset, get this. In the 1940s, a school teacher named John Reber
proposed a plan to dam and completely re-engineer the San Francisco Bay. And people took it seriously. Congress held hearings. The Army Corps of Engineers built a massive model to test it. Can you even imagine that happening today? It feels like we've traded in our grand plans for a whole lot of skepticism. Now, in the startup world, this definite optimism is sometimes called intelligent design. It's the total opposite of the lean startup fad, which is all about iterating and adapting. Instead, this is the deep conviction that a founder can have a vision and then execute a multi-year plan to create something completely new. Steve Jobs was the absolute master of this. Everyone talks about the beautiful design of the iPhone, but his true design genius was his business. He had a secret, multi-year plan for the iPod to be just the first step in a whole new generation of post-PC devices. It was never an accident. It was a definite, deliberate plan. And you can see the results right here. When the iPod first launched, analysts called it a niche product. They just couldn't see the definite plan that was already in motion. This chart is the harvest of that long-term vision. This is what happens when you decide to plan a future instead of just reacting to one. So this brings us right back to the beginning, back to you. If the whole world is telling you that the future is random and your success is just a matter of chance, what are you supposed to do about it? You should really internalize this idea. When Mark Zuckerberg turned down $1 billion from Yahoo for Facebook, it looked absolutely insane to an indefinite world. But Mark had a definite plan. He saw a future that Yahoo couldn't, and because of that, his company was fundamentally massively underrated. The most crucial point is this: you don't have to be a passive player in some big game of chance. Building something new, a startup, is the ultimate act of definite optimism. It's the largest sphere where you can exercise real agency, not just over your own life, but over a small, important part of the world. So, forget what you've been told. Reject the tyranny of chance. Strong people, successful founders, they believe in cause and effect. Victory awaits those who get their plan in order. Luck? Well, that's just what people call it when a plan actually works. You are not a lottery ticket.